When you were a kid growing up and your mom was baking a cake, the most fun part of the process was after the batter was mixed and the cake in the oven, you would get to lick the batter out of the bowl with a spoon. Just as you had a loving relationship with your mom by her allowing you to help her make the cake, God also had a loving relationship with His angels by allowing them to help build the earth. They were, after all, His children / creations. You know, there's not a mother or father on this earth that has raised their kids that haven't let them be part of their life, okay? You know, my dad took me hunting all the time when I was a kid, you know, all of us kids. And there was a time where he had to let us go, you know, as far as hunting goes. Eventually we had to do it by ourselves. And he just... God is the same way, okay? He wants you to enjoy the things that He has to give and wants you to have part in what He is doing. And that's what He was doing for His, with His angels, okay? He was giving them the opportunity to be in His creation process. Now, yes, I'm sure God, by Himself, could do every bit of this by Himself, okay? But when you're all-powerful God, then, and you've got angels that you've created, your kids, you know, why do it all yourself? You know, you let your, He wanted to let the angels have their part in it. So anyway, basically, look at the solar system as the batter, and the earth as the cake, and the icing as the final topping for the creation of the earth. Now, God wanted His angels to have part in His creation, so He assigned Satan to give out the orders to put the icing on the cake, which is earth, for people that, you know, are following along here. Through God and the angels, the earth was created. Every angel had their part in the creation, and the earth was more beautiful than it had ever been in the history of earth. If you can imagine for a moment, the earth was perfect. No pollution. It was just like a new car or a new house. Not one footprint on it. Everything was brand spanking new, beautiful. It was the Garden of, you know, the Garden of Eden. And it's just hard to imagine, okay? I've got a pretty vast imagination myself when it comes to a lot of things, but to imagine how beautiful the earth was before mankind has destroyed it to the point that it is today, it's just unfathomable how beautiful it probably was. But it wasn't complete. It needed a final step to make it more beautiful. This is where the dinosaurs came into the picture. The first air-breathing mammals ever to walk the earth. A test if you must see to see if life could be sustained on Earth. A test to see if life could be sustained on Earth. Let's just put it that way. With God as the architect and Satan as the builder, dinosaurs were created one by one. Are you with me? Okay. Just as there are different races of humans, there were different races of dinosaurs. At first, there were only plant-eating dinosaurs. You have to remember, God is a loving God, and He loves all His creations. And that included the dinos. We're gonna start saying dinos here instead of dinosaurs. You know, we're just going to shorten it up a little bit there. So therefore, there were no flesh-eating dinos in the beginning of creation. As time went on, and Satan and the angels carried out God's work, God finally decided to let Satan in on His plans for creating the earth. He had a plan to recreate himself, God. Yes, He has, you know, He ultimately has a plan to why He's making human beings, but He hasn't really, you know, so much as said that in the Bible, so to say. It takes a lot of reading to get to the point where I'm at, of where I'm going with this video, okay? Jesus, when he was born, he wasn't just merely here to preach to save your life, you know, so you could have eternal life in heaven. It wasn't all that, okay? Jesus was also put here on earth to prove that a human being can live in perfect harmony with God and have an existence with God at the same time. And that's a whole nother story. We can go into that in another chapter of this video. For now, let's just try to move on. As time went on and Satan and the angels carried out God's work, God finally decided to let Satan in on his plan for creating the earth. He had a plan to recreate himself, God. Through man living and dying, a man would either be great or he wouldn't. By us humans being flesh and bones, it is considered by God to be the testing ground of whether we are worthy of being a supernatural being like himself. If we can do as he says in the flesh, then we can do greater in the spirit. Therefore, a person doesn't live forever making the same mistakes. Hence is why we die. You know, the angels are forever, okay? And it's just, you know, angels are forever. The only way the angel can die after he creates one is if he kills it himself. And God doesn't enjoy destroying anything that he's made. And that means his angels also. So by recreating us in the flesh and putting a so-called time limit on our existence, he can control your misery, and he can, you know, you won't live forever, okay? Matter does not live forever. And eventually, at some point, it does fade and it goes back to the earth from whence it came. Okay, anyway, therefore, a person doesn't live forever making the same mistakes. Anyways, the whole time Satan was assuming this planet was being built as an Eden for the angels to live and enjoy as their own. Well, as soon as Satan heard what his plan was for building earth, this is the point where Satan got an ego and started getting jealous that God would use them to create something, humans being us, that were adored by him more than Satan and the angels. Okay, Satan didn't want to see human beings get God's praise and love more than him and his angels. So yes, he started growing an ego, and he just didn't like the idea of that. You know, why would God create something lesser than him and lesser than them? You know, and love it, love that person, love humanity more than he loves them. But like I said, that's in another story, so we're going to try to move on here. So being that God had given Satan the ability to create, Satan decided that, why do I need God? I can do the same exact thing he can and better, so why do we need to follow his instructions? So this is the point where Satan rebelled with as many angels that would follow him and descended to the earth and started to destroy the peace and tranquility they had built. Satan created the flesh-eating dinos at this point. Okay, understand, like we said up there further up in the video there, when the dinos were first created, there were nothing more than plant-eating, vegetation-eating dinosaurs. Anyway, Satan created the flesh-eating dinos to destroy the plant-eating dinos. Keep in mind that God does not create evil. Okay? Evil creates itself. And if a Tyrannosaurus Rex wasn't evil, I don't know what is. God saw what Satan was trying to do and ordered him to stop. But again, in Satan's mind, he didn't need God and wanted to destroy everything him and the angels had helped God to create. Satan was very jealous at this point. He was really upset. He did not like what God was doing. So, keep in mind, this is the first world age. Okay? Now, most modern day scientists will try to tell you that an asteroid hit the Earth through a natural occurrence, and that is what caused the demise of the dinos and everything on Earth, but that is just not the case. Okay? Keep it on going here. There was a war, the first war on Earth and heaven like has never been seen. Since the beginning of time. It's crazy, huh? Keep in mind that God and the angels are supernatural beings with immense power for creation and destruction. A war literally took place with the angels using energy bursts and whatever else they could use to try and destroy each other. You know, they weren't just you know, you gotta remember, these are supernatural beings, okay? And when Satan rebelled against God, you have to know that there was a rebellion of epic proportions, okay? Just like my dad, if I made bad grades, when I come home and brought my report card home, I got my little tail tore up, you know, so, you know, I got a whipping. So the next time the 6 weeks went by, if my grades didn't come up, I'd get another whipping. Well, I guess you can kind of compare it to that. Okay, when Satan rebelled, you know, that was his creation, his son at that time, and he rebelled. And God, you know, punished him just as your dad or your mom would punish you for making bad grades. Okay, and you know, just how these days, even though it's backwards, where kids and their parents fight and stuff, pretty much it was the same thing with God and Satan. And when this happened, literally all hell on earth broke loose. Okay, and it's hard to fathom, you know, what was going on at that time when Satan decided to do what he did. And it hurt God a lot that he had to do what he had to do, but it had to be done in order to secure a future for the human race. Okay, you ask, moving along. Okay, you ask, so with the whole universe to roam around in and fight, why fight here on Earth? Why fight here on Earth? I mean, they could have fought, and they probably did fight all over the universe as far as we know. You know, those planets that are out there, Mars, Venus, Pluto, Saturn, all those worlds were, you know, they were put there for a reason. They, you know, some people may want to think they're weights and balances just to keep the cosmos in place, but those planets were put there for a purpose. And I do believe that in the beginning, when everything was being made, when God and the angels were making everything, that those planets were meant to be just like Earth. Okay, if not humans on them, on those planets, animals that were equipped for those planets. You know, there would be plants and everything else on there. There might not have been humans because Earth is the mother planet. Okay, it's God's creation. That's what He focused on. That was the first creation. Okay, and after Satan rebelled, okay, give me just a second. Okay, after Satan rebelled, okay, God put everything on hold. Okay, these other planets that are out there, this probably should be another video, but I'm just going to touch just a little bit before I keep going here. These other planets out here were put on hold. They were going to be just like Earth. Earth was going to be probably the only planet with humans on it, but these other planets were going to be, you were going to be able to travel back and forth to these planets. You got to remember that God put a lot of things on hold, and that includes humanity's progression in the direction He wanted it to go. Okay, we weren't always meant to die. Okay, when God first created us, I'm pretty sure that we were probably in the flesh. We were going to live for a very, very, very long time before we died, if we even died. You know, because man, at the point when man was created, he wasn't a sinner. He didn't have the knowledge that Satan had. You know, basically when a man is created, he learns through experiences, whereas an angel and everything that has to do with God is an instant thing. In other words, they had instant knowledge of the universe, instant knowledge of science, instant knowledge of everything, and it was passed on in the genetics of the angel. Okay? But moving along here, so we don't get off point, because as far as Satan was concerned, the earth was a symbol of what him and the angels had built through the love of God for his creation. Satan wanted as much of it destroyed as he could get away with destroying before God stopped him. Okay, basically, you know, that's where God created the flesh-eating dinos that I just talked about above. Okay, basically it was his insult to God that, okay, you can create, I can create too. So he created the flesh-eating dinos to destroy the plant-eating dinos. I mean, does it not make sense? Okay, like I said before, God does not create evil. Okay, and he is not going to create an animal that is going to destroy other animals. Okay, there's no reason for it. It's just, anyways, it's kind of hard to grab a hold of that, you know, people think God would create a freaking animal like a Tyrannosaurus Rex and any of the other flesh-eating animals for that matter. So anyway, moving along here. Okay. So what we have learned here is that the earth is the first world age and was partly destroyed because of the war in heaven, and after that God completely destroyed the earth and started over with Gabriel as the new contractor. And getting lost here. As the new contractor of the earth to rebuild without Satan in the creation process. Thus, the next chapter in this video will be the beginning of the second world age, where the Bible of today starts. Well, I guess we're gonna, you know, cut this off. I've kind of went long enough, which, you know, there's probably some people that have already turned the video off, or just, you know, have let their mind start wandering, however you want to say it. Like I said, I'm from the South, so you're not going to always probably understand everything I'm saying, but in the most part, you know, I think you'll understand. Okay. If you have any problems with it, all you got to do is not understand something I said, you can just leave me a message in the comments after this video. Hope you've enjoyed this, and please feel free to donate to my cause. Even if it is only $1, every little bit helps. Just go to the PayPal donation link on the page. I'm not asking you to donate anything, so to say, but every little bit helps. God bless, and please leave comments and add my channel and share, for this is my first video. And our daily prayer that I'm probably going to try to have at the end of every video, it will probably be different. I'm not going to make it long and drawn out because, you know, like I said, most people have probably lost their interest and stuff by this time, or they're tired. So anyway, my daily prayer is, God, thank you for giving me this inspiration to make this video to share. For without your wisdom to give me, I would be lost in this world. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, I pray. Forgive our debts as we forgive our debtors. Forgive us our trespasses and protect us from the evil one. All these things in Jesus' precious name I pray. Amen.